And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the opening round of the 2020/2021 Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series. We should have had a intro kind of music scene playing here, but we don't, and thus is the start of the first race of any season. Again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I know the Carts to Computers Racing Series, a previous iteration of a series that ran with most of these same drivers, has been, well, it's been delayed for a little while. Never really had a spiritual successor through the summer months, but, well, we're back, and it's a pleasure to be back broadcasting for all of you at home, and I hope you guys have a great time tonight. It's the start of what I hope will be a very special 15-round season that I've been excited for a while. So, as is the case with any first broadcast of a season, there is going to be some occasional, slip-ups and such, including the fact that our music hasn't started yet, but we'll get things figured out, and I'm looking forward to a great season with all of you, and I hope all of you are as well. As you can see, we got a new logo and some new graphics. Quick shout out to my girlfriend Mariana for putting that lovely logo together. But I am your commentator, Marshall Crocker Jr. Apologies for the perhaps not stellar photo there, but it's a start, and I can't wait to get the season's action kicked off. I know that in previous iterations of seasons we've had some great races, and we've had some that perhaps weren't so competitive, but easily one of the best fields I've put together. Well, I've had come to one of our series possibly ever. There are some really great names in this group. Many of you that have watched the broadcast in the past will recognize many, but many you won't, and that's kind of the beauty of iRacing, is you meet so many people from around the world, and while many may be Canadian that I myself know, some I have never got the honor of meeting in person before. So it'll be a great broadcast tonight, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope all of you are as well. But for tonight, we are going to be showing you live qualifying tonight. That is, drivers as they run their lap times will be coming up on the qualifying leaderboard, and that way we'll have a better idea of who is on pole and what exactly we can look forward to coming up to the race. But for the time being, let's just show you the track map for tonight's race at the Charlotte Roval. Of course, the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway's Roval configuration. We've run this in both of the previous two Carts to Computers series seasons. It was a hit in both of those years, and it's a tough technical track that personally reminds me of a lot of a karting scenario. So for those of us that come from a karting background, it'll definitely seem very familiar, but well, there it is for you there. The 17-turn layout made up of the tough infield section with lots of sweeping corners that absolutely brutal on cold tires, and then the high-speed outer portion where all the passes will be happening. That is turns 8 up until around turns 15 and 16. So plenty of aspects of this track are going to be tough to deal with for drivers that maybe aren't used to the car that we're running this race, which I'll go over in a moment. But well, that's about all we have to get used to for this new season. I'll run you through your driver's lineup in just a moment once we get to qualifying, but I'm not sure quite yet, as it is the first race. Some drivers may not be able to make it because of the season, but there are many up in the air names that may make it, so I didn't want to put together an official list quite yet. But tonight we've already, I think, got 13 or 14 drivers in session running the race tonight, which is a great turnout for a first race with some names up in the air. So don't be surprised if you see as many as maybe 18 to 20 guys this season. It's going to be a good year, but well, there is the Roval, as I mentioned. So 17 corners. The elevation change, very minimal. Really, it's just the banking on the two turns there. Any of you that have seen a traditional oval will be familiar with the turns 8 to 16 section, and of course the famous bus stop in turns 11 and 12, with the brutal outside wall that I'm sure will cause more than its fair share of chaos tonight. But well, we can now almost get ready to head here. As you can see, the drivers in the background warming up for the start. This season, I know in the previous seasons of the Carts to Computer series, which I know I keep referencing for those of you that have never seen that, but it's another series with many of these drivers that I put on this past year for those that during COVID-19 couldn't go out and make their usual karting commitments. So instead, we set up kind of a virtual system for them to do so, and it was a really fun time, but there were some kinks I wanted to work out, and I felt I could make it better. So this season, for starters, we have only one car. It will be a primarily road course series, but we're using the Indy Pro PM18 car to be technical. It is the kind of a junior series equivalent to the Indy car. Of course, the Dallara IR18, which we have run in the past, but it's a very tricky car. It's very fickle, very tough to learn. So we felt it best to use a car that was a little bit more in the middle of everybody's skill sets, and hopefully having one car throughout the entire season will mean that, well, we get some better quality of racing because everybody's used to the car and can just apply their knowledge to new tracks. But it's also a fixed setup series, so everybody is on an even playing field. It really does become just about how much time you can put in to prepare and how much just natural talent you have dealing with cars that have the issues this car has, such as oversteer, tire wear, things like that. So, well, we can now head into our first qualifying session of the season in just a moment once iRacing finishes up with running a couple more drivers off the track after practice. But every driver has gotten at least an hour of practice. We've done a few test races leading up to tonight. So for both the race tonight and Monday at Road America, we should have some guys that are pretty knowledgeable and in the know about what they're doing when it comes to these races. So that should be great, and I hope it means we can see some pretty competitive action out on track. But for the time being, we have finally concluded our practice for tonight, so we will get to our first live qualifying session of the year. We got our qualifying graphics up at the moment, but until drivers come out on track, we will not actually see anybody running those times or putting times up on the board. But for now, we have 2 drivers heading out onto the track as we speak. Right now, we're on board with the 5 car of Andrew Bedrosian and Logan Paxa, the 2 drivers starting off now. Logan there to the inside is going to let Andrew by, so Mr. Bedrosian will be the first driver in our 10-minute qualifying session. In fact, I will put the session timer up at the top there. So every driver gets 10 minutes total to complete and as many laps as they can in that period of time. So as many as they're eligible for. We see Woody Mahan and that is Caleb Campbell are also running their laps. Apologies, the text font there at the bottom is a little darker for the last names than I'd like. That is something that will need to be adjusted, but hopefully, at least for tonight's sake, I can walk you through it, and before our race on Monday at Road America, we'll get the last of those kinks figured out. But, well, Andy's going to run us through a lap of the Roval, for those of you that haven't seen it in the past. He's doing actually a pretty masterful job on cold tires of getting that thing around here. As I mentioned, the tires, the way those Cooper tires are designed on these Indy Pro cars, are they're slippery for about 2 or 3 laps, borderline undrivable, you might say, and after that, they can pick up some real grip in them, and these things can go almost as good as an Indy car at most tracks. So, well, the 5 car of Andrew Bedrosian is going to start his lap off, and for those of you that aren't experienced with maybe F1, where they run a similar qualifying system, those purple bars, we'll put the track map doesn't really help us for the moment, but those purple bars there you see popping up, so Andrew ran a couple there, but now his time is going to disappear. Those purple bars are meant to represent that it is the fastest sector anybody has run through that portion of the track all race, and then the green sectors are personal bests. So purple sectors mean that you're going pretty darn fast in one of the 4 sectors, and chances are you're probably going to run one of the quickest laps of all. So you see Andrew there ran a purple sector in Sector 1, a yellow sector in Sector 2, meaning that he was a little bit slower in the second sector than he was in his opening lap when he came out of the pits, which is to be expected. Usually if you enter a sector slow, it actually ends up that you come out of it faster. But he runs quickest in the 3rd sector, so Andrew's running a great lap to start. Session time, we got to throw that up there just so everybody knows how long the session is. Again, sorry, it is very dark. The text color is unfortunately not what we'd like it to be tonight. So 2:20 on the clock. Driver should have about 4 or 5 laps of eligibility. Andrew Bedrosian will be the first driver to run a time there, and the number 5 car coming out through that last 1-2 chicane here, turns 16 and 17. Comes through the final corner. Somebody's beaten his first sector, but Andrew comes across the line with a 1:14.348, so not a bad time at all. 1:14 is a really competitive time, especially here as early as the first lap of qualifying. So Bedrosian will put his time up on the board. David Paxa putting in somewhere in the 1:15s, early 1:15s, and then Woody Mahan just barely down on him. Those are some unfortunate text colors. Again, one thing that this new graphics update has done is add some cool little details to the timing tower, but unfortunately those colors are a little bit rough. Tanner Dignard, Rich Flino, Tim Salvatore, and Carl Dronka all running their laps as well. Logan Pax has run quickest in the 1st sector as well. He should be coming through in just a moment. We'll head to him. Should be running a pretty good lap. He's just on the exit to the banking here, coming into the final 2 turns in just a moment. Running a great pace, quickest in the 1st sector, but Andy took his 2nd sector back. Only 3 times up on the board so far. Logan's dad has run his time, and great to have David Paxa making his debut. Been a long-time driver in the chat, and family member to Logan, so it's a pleasure to have him. Logan goes to the top immediately, 7/10 up on Andrew on his lap. Let's see if Andrew can take it back from him and make a statement here right as Logan goes to provisional pole with, well, about 6 minutes left to go in qualifying. Andy will come through. Can he beat his original time? He was quicker in the 2nd sector. He comes closer. He gains about 3/10, but made it into that 1:13 bubble, but still a couple tenths down on Logan for that pole time. So, well, for the moment, two Paxes in the top 3 there in the qualifying leaderboard. David Pax is coming through once again. Let's go to Tanner, who appears to have headed off the track. Let's just look around for some guys running their first laps. Tim Salvatore, who's been really quick in our test races so far this week. I believe he finished runner-up in our first test race here at Roval just a couple weeks back, so he'll have some speed. Tanner Dignard will go 5th, just a couple tenths down on Woody Mahan for 4th. Where will Tim qualify? Tim jumps to 5th, so pushes one driver out. Wow, about 7 hundredths of a second separating 3rd and 5th. Now Logan's going to go again for another try. He was already our provisional pole sitter. Let's see if he can extend it a little bit. Open that gap up more and get some breathing room away from Andrew, who's run some really quick laps here in qualifying so far. Ran quickest in sectors 2 and 3. Logan will go faster, gains about 0.2 on his original time. So 1:13.413 is the time to beat. Woody Mahan is coming across the line as we speak here in the black number 84 car. Can he make an improvement on his original time? Maybe go to the top 3? It appears he cannot, so looks like he will keep the time that he had previous. Andrew is, it looks like he just finished his lap. Did Andrew jump? He did. Came 0.2 off of Logan's time. Getting closer. Marshall Crocker Sr. will run his first lap and will provisionally sit in 7th, but he's got a couple more laps to move up the leaderboard there. How about Caleb Campbell? What do we think his chances are of putting himself in the running there? Caleb was a couple tenths down, but it could just be a warm-up lap there. Guys that have a late pit box show up very slow laps in their opening laps just because they technically start the laps. Tanner Dignard is going to already move up to 4th, leapfrogging Woody Mahan there. So he puts himself in the 2nd row for the start. No, he'll be pushed down by Salvatore and Paxa. Both drivers getting into the 114s pretty comfortably there. So now Manuel Guerra will put himself into 8th. So 8 drivers are able to run qualifying times thus far. Logan Paxa finishing up another one of his laps. Is there any chance he can improve on his provisional pole setting lap? Let's just wait a moment. No, 1:14.9. So quite a bit off his original lap. Maybe just got stuck behind lap traffic or something of the sort. But no, didn't really seem to improve there. Andrew ran quickest in the 2nd sector, at personal best in the 1st. So with only 4 minutes to go in the session, this could move him up the leaderboard. Let's see. Only a tenth off of Logan Paxa there. Great lap by Andrew. Gets in the 1:13.4s with Logan. Could throw a blanket over the top 2 there, but unfortunately unable to make progress up the leaderboard so far. So of the 8 drivers to run so far, it looks like it'll be Paxa, Bedrosian, Paxa, Salvatore, Dignard, Mahan, Crocker, and Manuel Guerra in the top 8 at the moment. So Andrew's trying his very best to run a new time. Let's see if maybe Tim Salvatore can do anything about it. He's already 4th. Only 0.2 down on David Paxa, so if he's able to get a personal best in this final sector, could make progress. Doesn't look like he's going to. Runs about a 1:15 there, which unfortunately won't be enough to move up. Tim Salvatore actually does move up from David Paxa, so good enough for him to make it only a 10th behind 2nd. So, or sorry, a 2nd behind 2nd, I should say. Carl Dronco will run his first lap, going to go 8th provisionally for the very first lap. Again, a thing to remember, even if drivers run quick laps, is actually, speaking of quick laps, Woody Mahan is running an absolute flyer coming up onto the banking before turns 16 and 17. But drivers that run off track and take an off-track penalty will unfortunately have their laps deleted. So looks like with about 2.5 more minutes to go, Mahan with Bedrosian right behind him might hold Bedrosian up in these final 2 corners. Where will Mahan run? Where will Bedrosian run? Mahan goes up to 5th. Bedrosian's time will not count, but man, he made it count for getting held up a little bit there in that final corner. You got to wonder if that's what's going to keep him out of contention for that top spot here tonight. Marshall Crocker appears to run a little bit quicker on that lap, but stays 7th provisionally for the time being. Rich Foligno has yet to run a lap, but I think he was just about in contention to run one. Did I just see either David Paxa or Tim Salvatore, I think, jump? Yeah, David Paxa jumps, I think, back up to 3rd. So plenty of contention for some of these middle spots in the running order here. Of course, important to mention that we actually have it set to interval, but there is the gap between the drivers from the top time, so that looks a little bit better. But yeah, so you see here just how close things are from that kind of 3rd to 7th range, about only 1.2 seconds separating. So nobody running quickest sectors at the moment, really, with about a minute and a half to go. Again, apologies for the text colors compared to the background there on the qualifying status. So there is a minute and a half to go. Unfortunately, it's not the easiest thing to see, but so Tanner Dignard is unable to improve. Bedrosian as well, but Woody Mahan ran a personal best 3rd sector, so as he comes up to the line, maybe he'll be able to improve a little bit. Comes through the corner, loses the back end, walks up into the final corner. Andrew Bedrosian actually doesn't set a new pole time, but runs a little bit quicker there in the last sector, sets a personal best for anybody through that sector, so definitely improvements being made for him. Rich Foligno there, as we see, coming through the final couple of corners up to turn 16 and 17. Where will the 99 put himself? Last couple of corners. Can he get a good time here to finish it off? Maybe move up onto the leaderboard. Rich jumps up to 8th on his very first attempt. So, 10 drivers to run qualifying laps so far. I think 13 drivers in total. No, just 2 more. So Jack Hillier and Caleb Campbell are the 2 drivers left to run a lap that have not as of yet. So, Tim Salvatore has run a personal best through every single sector. He might have something to say about maybe putting himself 3rd there. qualifying a little bit higher up. Of course, we do have a pole bonus, 3 points to the pole sitter, which is currently Logan Paxa. It doesn't appear as though he'll be able to add an extra lap there, but Caleb Campbell's going to run through. Hopefully that doesn't slow up Salvatore, who comes through the corner, makes it through, cuts the little gap there, and he will jump up to third position, 9/10 down on Logan's time. So that's a 1:14.3. That's a fire lap of a qualifying attempt there for Salvatore. Great work to put himself third. So Bedrosian doesn't look like he'll run quicker. Mahan might have something to say about that fourth or even the third spot as well, because again, look at how close that part of the leaderboard is. Ran personal best in sectors 2 and 3. The checkered flag has come out, so everybody has an opportunity to finish their laps now, but is unable to start a new one. Will Mahan improve? He will not, so he'll stay 5th for the time being. David Paxa looks like he'll stay as well. He crosses the line, but no, 1:15.6 will not improve his spot. Rich Foligno doesn't look like he'll jump either, so it looks like unless Jack Hillier, actually Rich will jump. He'll jump up to 7th, leapfrogging Marshall Crocker there for that spot. So it looks like the drivers there on the bottom are able to finish their laps, but nobody running personal best. Somebody just lost it in front of, that's Woody Mahan we're on board with right now. But for the time being, I would be comfortable in saying that will be your final starting order. And well, we have a lap to warm everybody up, but we'll check with Tim Salvatore, who appears to be running one more, and no, he's headed back to the pits as well. So, oh, maybe not. Let's check with Tim. Tim comes across the line. 1:14, goes even quicker, stays third, but wow, only 6/10 down on Logan there. So great time from Salvatore, making his debut in the series. Never ran in the previous Carts to Computers series. Same with David Paxas. So 2 entirely new faces to the series, running in 3rd and 4th, and 2 Paxas qualifying in the top 3. Bedrosian just jumped to the pole. Totally missed the lap he ran, but Bedrosian just a moment ago setting the personal best time, so he'll take pole in round 1 of the season. What was the gap there between those two? Because that is almost identical to Logan's time. Sorry, I totally missed that, but I had thought Bedrosian ran up his personal slowest in the 2 first sectors. I thought he was counted out of it, but well, what an extraordinary final couple of sectors there for Andy Bedrosian. Will take the first 3 championship points of the year to start off the season, and well, incredible job from him there. Congrats to him. We almost had 2 Paxes in the top 3 there, including the pole. So, well, Logan's dominance last season was, or at least in the Carts to Computer series, was poignant. But you know, man, this may be Andrew's opportunity to start putting some points down here. So, or at least start running up the score early in the season if he's able to. So, well, we will get you your qualifying results up in just a second, and then we will run you through your grid as they do their warm-up lap. But hopefully the text color matches up a little better. Well, it's not stellar, but it'll do. So, oh, sorry, let's throw the grid up instead, actually. There we go. That's a little better. So, well, we will go driver by driver. Oh, well, the background actually doesn't look stellar. We'll go back to the old one. Again, apologies, ladies and gentlemen, until we get that fixed for the next race once the text colors decide to line up a little better. But there will be your starting lineup for tonight's round at Charlotte Roval. Andrew Bedrosian will take the pole and get the 3 bonus points that come alongside it. Logan Paxa 21 thousandths down off the pole there. Again, both running incredible laps. About 5 or 6 tenths up on Tim Salvatore in 3rd there, which should show you just how quick they were in that first qualifying session of the season. So they will stay as the top 3, and then David Pax on the outside of row 2 in the 53 car, about a second down off Andrew's time. After that, Woody Mahan will round out the top 5 there, starting row 3. Tanner Dignard also making his debut in the series, qualifying in 6th. Rich Foligno after that, a series veteran, as well as Marshall Crocker, both will be the drivers on row 4. Carl Dronka and Manuel Guerra will start 9th and 10th. Then we got Vince Ball and Jack Hillier running at the Caleb Campbell and Jack Hillier. Vince Ball is our race marshal for this season. We do finally have a race director making calls and calling manual cautions. So that is one thing of the past. No more competition yellows that kind of ruin the flow of the race. And we got very official, proper caution calling as well. So, well, we will get your driver introductions going for this very first lap of the race once everybody is good to go. But I just want to say to all you watching at home, first of all, thank you for making it out. We got 14 viewers, which is the most we've had in one of these races in forever. So it's just the first race of the season, getting the ball rolled. But hopefully all of you guys stick around. And again, I promise that from the broadcast side, things will get a little more polished going forward. And I guarantee the racing action will be great this season. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. And yeah, the chat down there is the opportunity for all of you to talk to each other, ask me questions. It always gives me something to talk about throughout the broadcast. So if you got any questions you want to ask to me or anything to mention to the drivers for the post-race interviews, just feel free to mention it and feel free to do so. But now we are getting ready to go. We can do some driver introductions for the field going green right now. So let's start with Andrew Bedrosian here, your pole sitter. A guy with a lot of experience in the iRacing side of things in our series. Made his debut in the 2nd season of the Carts to Computers series, which was his best skill set there was probably more so the NASCAR side of things, but now as he tries the Indy Pro and gets used to a dedicated road course series, or at least with very few ovals to run, well, let's see if he's able to get things figured out and well, hold his pole spot for the entire 50-lap length of the race. But, well, if I was him, the one guy I would not want to see behind me is Mr. Logan Paxa, a guy who in previous series has just absolutely flown. Some of the best pure race pace I've seen on anybody on the service, let alone in one of our series. So I look forward to the battle between not just this race between Bedrosian and Paxa, but the entire season to be great. Almost slides, loses the back end, and makes contact with whoever was in third there, but manages to just avoid him. Speaking of who is in third, that is Mr. Tim Salvatore making his debut tonight. I mean, running the 91 car, he was great in both of our test sessions. He's been absolutely flying whenever I've raced against him, and him and I had a great battle in our first test session for this race a couple weeks back. So I'm expecting big things from him tonight, making a great debut starting third. Behind him, David Paxa, of course, father of Logan Paxa. Many of you that have contributed in the chat before will recognize him. He's always been a great face and great personality to talk to through there, and he's given me plenty of content for the broadcast over the years, so I look forward to him continuing that tradition from the driver's seat this time out. Running out the top 5, Woody Mahan, who's had plenty of success in our previous iterations, and really anytime we've done an IndyCar race, and the Indy Pro is about as close as you get to that without running the actual IR18, so looking forward to big things from the number 84 car tonight. Tanner Dignard making his debut as well there in the number 66 car, 55, the font shows up as 66 on his hood, but well, the 55 car there, starting in the 6th spot, running at the 3rd row of the grid. Behind him, Rich Foligno, series veteran, who's run in, I think, every race of any series I've ever put together here on iRacing. So he's an experienced guy. He was getting better and better throughout the last season that we raced together. So I'm looking forward to big things from him this season. I think he'll be one guy that definitely a dark horse contender to look out for the championship this year. After that, Marshall Crocker Sr., my father, there running in the 8th position. Of course, don't be confused. I'm not running in the race if you ever see the timing tower showing the Crocker name, but that is my father, who I know doesn't personally love the Roval, but I have the feeling that he's been putting in the practice efforts to maybe even surprise himself tonight and get himself maybe up to that top three positions there. Carl Dronka there in the 9th spot is a guy I have a lot of experience with through other series. He's an absolute beast there in the Skip Barber car. He's one of the quickest I've ever seen in that series, but now we see how he can attribute those skills to the Indy Pro side of things. Manuel Guerra there in 10th in the number 12 car, rounding at the top 10. I'm looking to see what he does tonight. He's a guy that anytime I've raced him on iRacing through other series off track that aren't broadcasted is just getting better and better. So he's the kind of guy who might have something to say about getting some great points for himself tonight as well. Caleb Campbell there, starting in 11th, matching his car number. He's a guy that we've had in the series before, but hopefully he'll be able to make a full-time appearance in the series this season. Looking forward to seeing what he does. And Jack Hillier in the number 6 car will round out the field. As you can see, the cars are getting doubled up, stacked up. As you notice, we did not go on the green flag. That is by design. We are specifically telling drivers to go green at the exit of corner 4 in just a moment. So everybody appears to be listening. That's a great thing to see. And I'm just getting ready to see the racing start. Let's hope for a clean race here, but Vince Ball, our race director, will call cautions if need be, if anything goes wrong. So drivers are getting doubled up, stacked up. We will go green on the exit of corner 4 here. The Karts to Computers Racing Series is getting ready to get kicked off here at the Charlotte Roval. Just a moment. Hopefully you're all excited at home. Andrew Bedrosian is the control car. He will lead coming out of corner 4. Green flag for the opening round of the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series here at Charlotte Roval. Through the first couple of corners, now we're on board with Logan Paxa. Andrew gets a good jump. Are we clean out of the first couple of corners? Not seeing anything too crazy there in the background. Let's get the blimp camera's not really working with me here, but it appears that everybody should have made it out of that first corner. Yeah, about 7 seconds back. So good to see right off the bat. We got some crazy racing here. The camera angles do not want to go wide. There we go. So right in front of Tanner Dignard here. David Paxa blocking hard on Woody Mahan. There was a block up to the top through the bus stop for the first time. Dignard's going to walk up in the back, go through the corner. Everybody else seems to have made it through for the first lap. So Carl Dronka already up to 6th, gained a bunch of spots, including Dignard, who went over the rumble strips there through the bus stop. He's got to wait his turn and make up the time that he'll have his penalty time there for cutting the corner. So Dignard will fall back. Hillier appears to have made it back, and he might make the move on Dignard in just a moment. Caleb Campbell besides that. But yeah, Carl Dronka after the very first lap already up 3 spots there into 6th. Andrew Bedrosian there will actually put up the total gained spots of everybody for that first lap, just to show you. Everybody seems to have kept pretty consistent there, and again, the backgrounds may not show up perfectly. One thing I'll fix going forward, but besides that, everybody seems to be in a pretty good state of things after the first lap, so good to see we stayed clean. But Bedrosian and Paxa have already taken off from the field behind as well, based on their qualifying times, we may have extrapolated out might be the fact, but, well, already off the start, about 3.5 seconds back to Salvatore in third, so great start for both of those two gentlemen, and now it's Pax's responsibility to chase down Bedrosian ahead of him because, well, 50 laps is a long time, but Bedrosian did one-up him there for the pole just a moment ago, so we'll see what happens as a result of that. Looking back a little bit, Tim Salvatore and David Paxa, I know two guys that are good friends off track, but now Salvatore's got to hold off Paxa as best he can. It maybe in his debut join the other line of drivers that have scored a podium in their first race, including, I believe, Samuel McEachran originally did it. I think Woody Mahan did as well. Speaking of Woody Mahan, he is having to defend right now from Carl Dronka, already up 3 spots. The 38 car just flying through there in the orange and black right behind. Carl's going to get pretty close, but they're both going to make it through clean. Carl got the better corner entry, though. May get the better runoff as we cross the start-finish line. Doesn't appear so. So, well, Carl will maintain his spot there in sixth for the time being. But, man, what a start for those guys. Looking through the field, doesn't appear to be any incidents so far. So as we continue through now on to lap 3 of 50. Again, apologies again for the text color, but hopefully all of you can read the lap count as best as possible. So, well, it's been a great start to things so far. We'll throw up the track map in a moment, but for the time being, let's just look through the field and see if there's any other action to report on. Rich Foligno with some pretty good pace off the start, keeping it pretty competitive between him and the two guys in front of him. So, trying to chase down the, whatever is Woody Mahan, trying to chase down the 84 and the 38 respectively. So, great battles all through the field to start off tonight's event. Looking back a little bit, Manuel Guerra and Marshall Crocker, I think, is the battle for the 8th position. Manuel's already moved up 2 spots there to 8th, and the 15 car chasing down the 12 as we come through the bus stop, but a little too far back probably to have the draft for now. Tanner Digner, who qualified in 6th, then jumped the bus stop as we saw a couple laps back, appears to have gotten up to speed by now, and as he comes through the bus stop himself, I think he's starting to develop some pace, and I know he's fairly new to the series, so to even knowing that he would be in the series, so guys like that, sometimes you just need laps put down to get used to the swing of things, and I think that might be the situation in his case. So, well, looking back a little bit further up through the field, Logan Pax is still trying to chase down Andrew Bedrosian. Appears to have closed up the gap a little bit, down to about 0.6 now, but I found, whether it be the test race or whatever, these guys have just been so close all season that, really I think we can't truly understand what kind of pace they'll have until we get some laps under our belt. Carl Dronka and Rich Foligno appear to have, a huge accident must have happened just a moment ago, because the entire front right torn off of Foligno's car. Let's just go back a little bit and see a replay of that. So this is Rich Foligno chasing down the battle between Carl Dronka and Woody Mahan. So Carl made the move on Woody at this point, but just gets too much speed there on the outside of that's turn number 2. No caution there at the moment, but Carl catches the inside wall. Huge contact on the outside and takes Rich with him. It's a shame to see. I don't think we've gone into a caution state as of yet. No, we have not. So no caution for that incident. Of course, quick repairs for both Foligno and Dronka to hopefully get back on the track, but it's just an unfortunate way to start the race for both of those gentlemen and to start the season. But Caleb Campbell will make the move on Jack Hillier there. That is for the 9th spot. But the main beneficiary of that whole incident was Manuel Guerra, who went up from 10th to 4th in the span of his first 5 laps of the race. So Guerra will move all the way up there to 6th, and really the battle continues between Salvatore, Paxa, and Mahan. Woody Mahan being miraculously able to avoid that incident just a moment ago involving Carl Dronka, but, well, Andrew Bedrosian and Logan Paxa continue to be the battle between 1st and 2nd. Keeping really close. Actually, Pax is going to have a great run here up off the banking here. If he can stay on the slipstream, he might make a move into the bus stop, about 0.4 back, which is perfect slipstream range. Let's see if he's able to make something work. Pax is just, it's Bedrosian blipping in and out a little bit. Logan makes up a ton of time, but he might have to wait until corners 16 and 17 off the second half of the banking to make the move here. He's even closer this time. He'll still be in the draft. Are we going to see our first pass for the lead all season? He's getting closer and closer. This might be his chance. Jack Hillier is coming to the pits as well there in the 10th spot, but Pax are right up behind him. I think he's going to wait this time. Logan is typically a pretty conservative guy with moves like that, especially this early in the race, but well, it's promising to see that both these top 2 guys have pace and have been super competitive in all our test races. So I don't mean to jinx what might be our championship battle this season, but I have the feeling these 2 guys are going to compete as best they can. And, well, so far Logan is definitely got the pace to challenge for, well, really any section of the track. So it's, again, promising to see. Great to see these 2 guys having as much speed as they have. But 3 drivers in the pits at the moment. Of course, Vince Ball, our race director, is not in the race. So the 12 cars we have, 2 finally exiting the pits. That's Rich Foligno and Jack Hillier. Carl Dronka remaining in the pits at the moment, but Rich will only go a lap down, so if we get a caution, we could see a situation where he gets some laps back. For the time being, Bedrosian and Paxa is still your top two. Logan dropped back a little bit in that intersection, probably just trying to watch out and make sure he didn't get too close through some of those corners. The draft can definitely take some air off the car, decrease your downforce and make it tougher to turn, so at that point you risk getting in an incident with the guys in front of you. But we'll go back to third, actually, with Tim Salvatore, again, making his debut tonight there in the number... I got to remember car numbers tonight. That is the number 91 car. So he's got about a second clear of... 2 seconds clear of David Paxa. Great lap for him. But we will get the track map here now that we've had a couple laps under our belt just to get a better idea of where guys are on track. So we're on board here with Salvatore. As you can see, Paxa not too far back, that number 4 dot, and the 5 dot behind him. So the 12th car of Carl Dronka, is he the 12th car? Well, 12th position. Carl Dronka still in the pits. Rich Foligno had returned to the track just a moment ago. He's the green dot you can see on the left of the track map right now. And then the 11th dot, that is Jack Hillier, of course, also making his debut. Bedrosian and Paxa coming back up onto the banking this time. These are the corners you got to watch because passes do tend to happen on the entry into the bus stop. Maybe not this early in the race, but then again, this is the first proper race we've run all season. We don't really have a precedent for this kind of thing until we see what the guys are willing to do for spots. Again, Bedrosian and Paxa, two guys with a long history of winning in this series. You got to think that they'd love to start the series off on a high, at least for a confidence builder. I know this is a track that Logan won at in the very first series, series of our old, very first season of our old series, I should say. Crocker and Digner there, the battle I think for 7th spot. As we hop away for a moment from that battle for the lead, the 15 car holding off the 55. Probably going to defend to the inside here. Digner's going to try to go all the way around those two cars. This is for the 7th position again, 7th pretty high in the points. So with a lot of guys missing out on tonight's race, we're going to have a lot of guys fighting for whatever points they can get, and Crocker will be able to hold them off for the time being. So the 15 car will hold the 7th spot, and that's Manuel Guerra up the road, who just lost traction actually on the exit. So he'll lose a spot to Crocker, probably going to lose it to Digner as well. Just like that, Marshall Crocker Sr. will hop up to the 6th spot, and Digner will actually lose a little bit of time just trying to avoid Guerra in front of him. So this battle for 6th is going to stay competitive between these three drivers for the time being, but Crocker will make it through clean. So yeah, he's running great sectors there through the end of the lap. So he will be able to defend for the time being. Again, back up onto the banking here between Bedrosian and Paxa. Got to watch out always for Logan Paxa's moves, just because kind of never know when he's going to strike, kind of like lightning. So Digner and Crocker still battling there for the 6th spot. We'll go there in just a moment, but Paxa gets a little bit closer, isn't able to make the move for the time being. Now we're going to go back to the 15 and the 55 as we come through corner 5 here. This 5-6 turn really tough to make properly on older tires, but well, the 15 is able to make it through successfully. So still holding on to that 6th spot for the time being. As we come back up onto the banking, and these closer camera angles look cool, but not the easiest to tell battles. Digner is going to drop below the line a little bit, trying to make the move. Tanner Digner is getting really aggressive on the inside line. Crocker's just going to let him have it and kind of says, I don't really want to deal with that now for the time being. Going to come really close here. Digner's got the inside line. Going to have to take a lot of that curb. No, he backs out instead, actually. Good decision-making there by Digner. Good on him to wait a moment. Logan Paxa up at the front. Appears to have made the move while I was looking at that last battle. Let's just go back quickly for the replay and see how he was able to do it. But actually got a ton of ground there after that corner. So it was, as I suspected, coming up to 16-17. I said he was probably going to have to do it off the banking, and nice aggressive move there by Logan. Just sends it in under the braking zone. Came very close to catching Bedrosian's front right tire, but makes it through unscathed, and he is now your new race leader. Of course, no pit cycles yet, so this is by no means over, but well, promising stuff for any Logan Paxa fans out there that he'll have a good race. Tanner Digner has made the pass for the move back up to 6th, so the 55 car back to where he started. The 15, though, still chasing him down with Manuel Guerra right on his tail. This battle for 6th has probably been the most entertaining through the whole race so far. Rich Foligno also in the background has made it up to 9th from his incident just a moment ago that put him a couple laps down. Now he's made up some progress, so looking around here, you can see Crocker still trying to chase down Digner, but Digner had a great set of corners there. He's already making up some ground to the guys ahead. Yeah, no real action other than that. Caleb Campbell appeared to have had a incident just a moment ago. Let's see where he lies. So still out on track. He lost a spot to Foligno here in the 99 just a moment ago, but appears to be back up to speed now. Somebody making a move there further back in the field. That's Manuel Guerra passing the 15 of Crocker. So now Guerra moves up to 7th, and Tanner Digner has already got about 2nd and almost a half there up to 6th. So he made the moves he needed to, and he's just taken off there in the 55 car. Looking back a little bit, of course, Crocker still in the running, though. Also lets Foligno by, but Foligno is a lap down, so not for position. Back up to the front, let's just check the gap between Paxa and Bedrosian. Bedrosian actually still hasn't lost the draft, so he's trying to stay as competitive as he can and stay in contention at least for that #1 spot. And I know we do have some pit cycles left to go, but you got to think if you're him, you want to take whatever spots you can get early. And no, I don't think he's going to be able to get him this time through 16 and 17. So again, apologies for the lap counter there, ladies and gentlemen, but we are 10 laps into tonight's festivities. Is that 10 or am I misreading that? There we go. So 11 this time by. So we're about 20% of the way through the race, just getting past the 1/5 mark. Again, hopefully you're all having a great broadcast. I usually check the chat when I take little breaks, and because we seem to have a lull in the action, everybody's kind of spread out a little bit. We're going to go to a quick... we don't really do commercial breaks anymore this season, because at least for the moment, we don't have any proper sponsors, but I'm just going to put up a bit of a different screen. I'll be away for just a moment, and I will be back in just a second. And we're back there after a very brief break. Just a quick check in the chat. We had it requested by Heather Forcier that we throw up the driver numbers, which I can do. Unfortunately, the ones that show up in silver, which a couple of guys have chosen for their specific car types or their specific car paint schemes, some of them don't show up all too well, but hopefully that'll give you a broad idea of what to expect for driver numbers. Logan Paxa, you can't see his. He is the 16 car. Tim Salvatore is the 91. I believe Woody Mahan is the 84. And Tanner Dignard is the 55. So you'll start to get used to them over the course of the season. They will stay the same throughout the entire year. But on board right now with Tim Salvatore, and we also had a request there in the chat, which I am checking on these little breaks. Somebody off there in the background, that's Jack Hillier there in the number 6 car. Hopefully he stays out of the way of those getting back on the track through the exit of corner 4, and he appears to be. So I'll let Caleb Campbell back up a little bit. Doing a good job to stay out of the way, but that's kind of the ruling with single car incidents. Just if they don't affect the race result, then we don't usually call a caution for them, which I guess was the case with the earlier incident between Foligno and Dronka. But again, just the same way as it's the first broadcast of the season for me, it's also the first of the season for our race director Vince. So we'll get things figured out there as we go along. But for the time being, we also had a request for lap times, and we do have a pretty perfect graphic for that, actually. So let's compare the lap times between the top 2 drivers of tonight's race. That is Paxa and Bedrosian at the moment. Logan Paxa, of course, your new race leader, who has pulled out about a 2.5 second gap to Bedrosian behind in the quickest lap of the race there, as you can see in purple on lap 12. So 1:12.939. That's quicker than his qualifying attempt. So once those tires get up to speed and Logan gets a couple of laps under his belt, he no doubt runs the quickest he possibly can there. So running a 1:12.939 that last time by. So Bedrosian's about maybe 3/10 down on him. Now let's do a comparison between Tim Salvatore and David Paxa, the battle for 3rd at the moment, that final podium spot. But a 2-second difference between the drivers in 2nd and 3rd. So actually very interesting to look at here. So Salvatore has generally had about, we got about 2, 3/10, 7/10 on lap 12. So he's had some pretty good leads. But Woody Mahan actually just making the move on David Paxa. What has happened to David Paxa on track? Oh, David must have just gone around just a moment ago, because Woody will take the spot as well. So right as we thought David was in the battle there for the lead. So this is coming through, this would be turns, well, this is turn 1 right on the very beginning of the lap. So coming through turn 1, doesn't catch too much of the curb, but just gets a little bit too wide on entry. Manages to avoid the wall. Great job to keep the tires spinning and keep it off there. So impressive car maneuvering there by Paxa. He'll get back on and rejoin the track. Let's see where he is now in the timing tower. So loses about 8 seconds to Mahan. Salvatore will now take off for that sole possession of the 3rd spot. Petrosian making up some time to Paxa this last time by. We'll have to see what the case is there between those two guys. But yeah, so Salvatore will move up to 3rd. Mahan about 5 seconds back, and Paxa still very clear. The guys behind for a top 5 spot, but for the time being, not really in contention with any of the guys behind him. So David will drop a couple spots back, but again, a caution or a really good pit cycle could, throw this thing into chaos. So, well, you never know, but he'll move back to 5th for the time being. Marshall Crocker in the 15 car will head into the pits for the first stop of the race. I think stopping right now, yeah, should have a pretty comfortable amount of fuel that he can probably make it to the finish. So maybe a strategy play by him trying to do whatever he can to make up some spots here. But, if it's still in 8th after his pit stop, I mean, in terms of points, I know we only have 12 guys who were able to make it tonight, but still not a bad points finishing position to start off the season with, especially with, how much opportunity for an incident there was between himself, Guerra, and Dignard. So off to a good start between those gentlemen, and David Paxa appears to be back up to speed, so he is back to competing. Logan Paxa has lost a little bit of his gap there to Petrosian behind him, at least right this very second, but no, Petrosian seems to have backed off a little bit. Andrew ran some great laps just a moment ago, but you see in the background there the number 5 car making up a little bit of time to Paxa, but well, it looks like he'll have to do a little bit more than that if he wants to make up the ground before the pit stop cycle, which is where I'd imagine we'll see some positions shuffling around. There are the car numbers up on your screen up in the timing tower, and again, Logan Paxa, very frequent driver in our series, and I think he's got combined, he had, I think, 8 wins our first season, I think 4 or 5 in our last. So Logan is a very experienced winner in series I've put on, and well, you got to think that after the long break in the karting season where we haven't had one of these series in a little while, once he's able to put some practice laps down and get back up to speed, he'll be one of the guys to watch all season. But I think Andrew getting the pole there just a moment ago, even if he has backed off a little bit, when it comes to race pace for the time being, I mean, I think these two guys are going to be the battle to watch, kind of the 2 Mercedes teammates of F1, where they, I think they have the most time to put into practice. They have the most experience, I think, in open wheel cars on iRacing of this sort. So you got to think they'll be quick all season. But guys I want to talk about as well, as again, we have a bit of a wall in the action while everybody separates out before the pit cycles, is Tim Salvatore, again, making his debut tonight. Again, a guy that I ran in the first 2 test sessions of the season with the guys just because didn't have to broadcast. Felt like it would be fun to stop by. And Tim and I, great battle there for position here at Roval a couple weeks back. He's a very clean driver. I find consistency is kind of his thing here. I know some guys where they're able to run great qualifying laps and they have really quick top end pace, but when it comes to race pace, some of that falls off and they just aren't able to run great laps one after another. But he just kept kind of running the same lap times and staying consistent, and he was able to come away with 2nd in that test race. And yeah, him and I for a long time stayed fairly close. So it's great to see that he's having success tonight and it's carrying over. And always love to see rookies in the series succeeding, and being able to make it for the first round of the season is always going to help his points for the next 14 other rounds of our series. Again, this series will go once a week every Friday until end of March. So well, that's going to start off his season with a bang. And again, we do have drop races, 2 of them, in fact, to start off the season. So kind of the way the season was set up is that, well, we have 2 races before the Christmas season. Of course, our other race at Road America this Monday for round 2. But we have those 2 rounds, and then on January the 8th, we come back at Texas Motor Speedway for round 3. But the idea is with those 2 drop races, anybody that isn't able to make it in those first 2 races can still run a full point schedule starting in January. They just won't have those 2 drop races in their back pocket to use. So we got a couple more names like Kenneth O'Keefe, Sam McEachern, who you may recognize, Justin Lewick, who I know was kind of a fan favorite in the old series, who actually won at our race at Roval in the very most recent Cards to Computers series. He's actually recovering from an injury that he sustained a while ago in a real-life racing incident. So hopefully he will be back in the next couple of weeks, maybe even making his return at Road America. And then his former teammate Max Preston as well, who I know is in talks to join the series as well, who is just wasn't able to make it tonight by some circumstances. So but yeah, we got plenty of drivers who weren't able to make it tonight that I know will factor in the rest of the series, including as well as Jean Guerra, brother of Manuel Guerra, who you may be wondering why there's only one Guerra representing the brother duo tonight. But Yeah, so plenty more names that we'll see throughout the rest of the season, and yeah, it's great to see as many guys as we had tonight with that many names off the drivers list. So I get back up to the front because again the battle in the middle positions appears to be pretty silent at the time being. This is Woody Mahan there in the 84 car, just kind of going around in his zone, really just running laps as best as he can and trying to keep the pace up before he has to come into the pits. But here's Logan Paxa, of course, your race leader. Let's maybe for a lap go on board with Andrew Bedrosian here. Maybe we won't go full on board, but we'll go to the chase camera just so you can kind of see him trying to track down Logan. Maybe see what sections he's quicker, which he isn't. And again, we're going to go to a very quick break. I will check the chat, and we'll be back in just a moment. And we're back. As you can see, we are not in currently live mode here. We got to look over this incident that just happened a moment ago between Tanner Dignard and Rich Foligno. I don't think these two drivers were competing for position, so Foligno just loses the control of the back end, jumps the curbing there, and catches Dignard there, taking the exit through corner 17, just in front of the two leaders actually as well. So lucky that they were able to avoid that, but unfortunately Dignard was unable to make it back to the pits under his own power. Did have to use his both his quick repair and his free pass back to the pits. So a couple incidents so far in this race, again, don't appear to have warranted a reset from a race director thus far, but again, sometimes you can't catch everything, and going forward, again, that's one of the other things that will get worked out, is hopefully being able to see all incidents that we possibly can. Now, this battle for the top two, again, has kind of appeared to stagnate. Logan is running almost identical lap times to Andrew behind him. Again, we'll put up the lap time graphic, but yeah, running about a tenth apart these last couple. Well, I say that, but Logan ran about 7/10 quicker that last time by. So 1:13.2 this late into a stint is great work by him, and it looks like he's going to try to go to the halfway point before coming into the pits. Because again, apologies about the font, that will be fixed before Monday. But we are on lap 21 of 50, so yeah, just about at the halfway point. He's got time to go. Whoa, just barely avoids the number 11 car of Caleb Campbell. Good job to make it by him without any issues. And yeah, looking at throughout the field, so Rich Foligno is coming to the pits after his incident a moment ago. A couple other drivers, I believe, pitting just a second ago. We're actually we will pull this down. Let's go to the pit strategy graphic, as Jack Hillier somewhere on track has a bit of an incident. Let's go to him. Just got a little bit loose, coming back up under the banking, it would appear. The 6 car is still in good condition and back onto the track. But let's go to the leader, Logan Paxa, because it's always easier to show graphics in context of his position. So the top 5 all have yet to pit. Oh, actually including Manuel Guerra as well. So the top 6 all have yet to come into the pits. That is Paxa, Bedrosian, Salvatore, Mahan, other Paxa, and Guerra. So all 6 of them have yet to pit. Marshall Crocker pitted on lap number 13. So looks like he's thinking that he can go to the end on his current stint. Or so that is 13. I am reading that correctly. So he has made a pit stop. Tanner Dignard has not, but he did just have to come into the pits a moment ago to repair his damage that he sustained a moment ago. Rich Foligno, you can see the interior of the 99 car, which is probably as a result of his incident a moment ago, which you actually just saw live get fixed by a quick repair. So good to get a better idea of how that whole system works. Unfortunately, the pit strategy graphic does not want to extend for the drivers below. So after that, yeah, still Caleb Campbell, who just came into the pits a moment ago, presumably for his first stop. So, well, let's go back from here. Still have stayed green throughout this entire race so far. So Paxa and Bedrosian still pretty dominant there at the front, but actually Bedrosian making up a ton of time that last time by. You see he's cut the gap from 2 seconds all the way back down to 1.3. So plenty of parity between those two drivers. They're kind of single-handedly keeping up the battles in this entire race at the moment because, well, unless Woody Mahan is able to make up about 7 seconds to Tim Salvatore, everybody appears to be pretty spread out for the time being. But we will go back to Tim Salvatore and talk about that because he's got Manuel Guerra right behind him, who may be a lap down, but is he just, yeah, 1 lap down there in 6th, but Manuel has had a great race. We'll actually put up the gain since the beginning of the race graphic one more time, but as you can see there, so he has gained 4 spots since the start of the race, including Marshall Crocker behind him as well, has moved up a spot since the beginning, so good job from those two guys to use their qualifying positions and maybe gain some points off of where they might have been otherwise. Tanner Dignard and Rich Foligno both losing 2 spots apiece. Dignard with a great qualifying performance tonight with 6th, and actually just got passed by Rich Foligno there. So Tanner Dignard has left the race entirely. Not sure if he used his 2 quick repairs or what, but he is headed out of tonight's festivities. So besides that, Caleb Campbell and Jack Hillier both still in the pits. Both have gained 2 spots since the start of the race. Carl Dronka, who left very early in tonight's event, has of course lost 3 spots, but that is because he is headed out of tonight's festivities. And Logan and Andrew swapped as well. Also Woody and David. So that's about that. Everybody fairly consistent with where they started at the beginning, at least I think in terms of pace. Although I say that, but Tanner Dignard, who I know headed out just a moment ago, but was quick in qualifying. He was looking quick there, even after his little hop over the bus stop there on the backstretch in the very first lap. Was still running pretty quick for the time being, but he did lose a little bit of time. But yeah, great job by Manuel Guerra. Just to talk about his situation, actually Logan is got some more competition from Andrew right behind that we'll go to in a moment. But for those that don't know, Manuel is coming, I think, from Portugal live, hence the international flag next to his name. But I believe it is actually 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning where he is right now when we do these race broadcasts. So the fact that he has not only done 1 season, but made it out to multiple through these different series is really admirable, especially how well he's able to compete for it being as late as it is over there for him. So I mean, it's what, 8:48 in the Eastern time zone where I am, and I'm sure many of you guys are, but yeah, I can't imagine going all the way to 1 o'clock just to stay up for a race. And actually shout out to a voter as well in the chat who is in theory one of the drivers for this series for the rest of the season, but I know he just wasn't able to make it out tonight, but I know he has a similar situation, has always stayed up for races, so I pride all the European guys for that and making it out on nights where perhaps the time zones aren't set up to make it super easy for them to make it out, but they always seem to, so thank you for those guys. Tanner Dignard, hey there in the chat. It's a shame that we lost you from the race, but hopefully we'll have you back for a round on Monday at Road America, and a great performance by you, man. I mean, all the way up to 6th there to get things kicked off. Great performance to start off the season. Makes it a good first impression, I would say. Besides that, Marion is asking, why are some names blue and others are black? That is, in theory, because the drivers are lapped down and are on the lap, are laps down from the reference driver. So this might get a little bit confusing, but at the moment it's in reference to whatever driver you're showing. So currently we're showing Manuel Guerra. He is in 6th. The drivers in the black are the drivers on the same lap as him. That in this case is Marshall Crocker, who is on the same lap there in the 7th spot. Any drivers in the blue are a lap down from that, and any drivers in the red are a lap ahead of them or more. So in this case, all the top 5 drivers in the lead lap, which does now not include David Paxa, who heads into the pits this time by. But yeah, so it's in reference to whoever has the blue spot on their number there on the left, who is the driver we're currently looking at. Any drivers that are laps behind them will be in blue. Any that are laps ahead will be in red. So as you can see, Paxa and Bedrosian both move into the red, which means they did just get their lap. And yeah, Salvatore and Mahan currently on the same lap for the time being, but by the time David Stead stop, I would imagine that Tim Salvatore will make the move on him to get his lap. Yeah, as you see, he goes into the red just now. So shout out to Marianne as well. Thank you for making the graphic we're using tonight. And as you can see, the cute little snowman there on the Snowstorm Racing Series logo. I've had a lot of guys requesting we put a helmet on him, so we may have to work, her and I, on that for the future to maybe make this logo a little bit more racy, but, well, racing-y. I phrased that the wrong way. Anyways, back to racing. Bedrosian appears to have just made his pit stop, unless he had an incident, which I don't think he did. When did he lose all that time? Am I just blind or something? No, he lost 8 seconds a lap before 14 that last lap, so he must have come into the pits for his stop. Let's check the pit strategy graphic. Yeah, so just pitted a moment ago. So Bedrosian has now made his pit stop Kind of unable to tell what the pit cycle will be because it's different for every driver. The pit cycle referring to the period of time between a driver coming into the pits and a driver exiting the pits, and how much time it adds to a normal lap when you do come into the pits. So speaking of which, Logan, our race leader, will now come in this time. So we'll see where he cycles out ahead of Bedrosian. But yeah, some drivers' pit cycles are quicker than others. Some have really good pit entry skills, so you can kind of be a little bit braver on the brakes coming into the pits. You can stay up at full speed for longer before you decide to finally slow down. Some guys are better at that than others, and looks like Logan and Andrew are some of the best because Andrew kept a pretty consistent gap ahead to Salvatore. So as you can see there on the timing tower, time is ticking down. Bedrosian is coming through corner 17 as we speak. He will come out of the final corner. This is going to be a close battle. You'll see the 5 car in the background there in the red, white, and blue. And the thing you got to remember is he'll be on 1 lap newer tires, so Paxa will phase out still ahead of the 5 car, still the leader of this race. But for a couple corners, Logan's going to be trying to get those tires up to speed. You may see him leaving here on the straightaway. Decides against it. Maybe he didn't even take tires. It's a legitimate possibility. I know some guys think they can run the whole lap without prioritizing keeping your temperatures up over the course of the entire race rather than taking cold tires that'll get more grip by the end. So it's up to each driver's personal preference. Looking back, we can see Marshall Crocker there, the 15 car, looks to have had a brief incident just a moment ago, but makes it through without any damage, so he will maintain his 7th place spot for the time being. Let's head up to David Paxa. I haven't talked about him in a while in the 53 car. Still in the top 5. Yeah, not really within touching distance of the cars ahead, but I think that's just because Salvatore and Mahan have yet to make their stops. The timing tower is a little bit on drugs right now, ladies and gentlemen, so as you can see, the times are all starting to fix themselves out, but if you want to tell where guys are on track compared to each other, you can usually just check the lap number and then check on the track map to have a better idea of that. Another thing I want to fix going forward is the fact that, yeah, the blue text that Mariana mentioned a moment ago that represents drivers being a lap down kind of clashes with the blue I used for the timing towers. So going forward, there's a couple of visual things we'll fix and get some actual theme music in here for the race start. But this is why we do it, just to work some things out, and hopefully going forward we can make these broadcasts bigger and better. And if anybody has any suggestions there on the YouTube side of things, feel free to throw them in there. For the time being, Pax is still about 1.7 seconds off Bedrosian, so that battle has stayed pretty consistent. Tim Salvatore, has he come into the pits yet, or has he stayed out? Because he can't have come into the pits, because he has made up an absurd amount of time. Yeah, still himself and Mahan have yet to pit. David Paxa actually came in just a moment ago, so if the kind of 25-second pit stint that I think it is about accurate is true, then he's probably about 20 seconds back in Mahan for 4th, so this isn't David Paxa, this is still Tim Salvatore. But yeah, David Paxa making his debut, of course, father of a former series champion, well, and again, previous series. This is not technically Carts to Computer Season 3, but we might as well consider it a spiritual successor. But yeah, father of a former champion of that series, and he's making a great name for himself so far tonight. Was very quick in practice, running in the 4th spot. So qualifying top 4 with such a talented field of drivers as some of these guys are is no doubt pretty impressive. But Tim Salvatore and Woody Mahan came to play today, so I think they'll be the ones fighting for that final podium position here. Again, always good to interview rookies in their very first races, and I'd say that with the pace he's going at, Tim Salvatore may get himself an interview here post-race, so I always look forward to those and getting to talk to some new guys. And again, if any of you come here through relation to a driver in this race and you want to ask them a question specifically for the post-race, Jack Hillier. Sorry, I got a little bit excited there because I thought he was sitting there on the race surface, and thought Tim Salvatore's night may have been just about to come to an end. The 6th car being good to back up, though. That's Woody Mahan by. So again, I mean, Jack Hillier I know is pretty new to both the service and to the entire concept of running an organized series, but that some guys just got to take time to get used to the sim, get warmed up and up to speed, and I have no doubt that he'll be a competitive part of the series going forward once tonight's event is finished. But for the time being, we'll pull down the pit strategy graphic. That is Marshall Crocker Sr. in the 15 car there, running ahead of Logan. So he'll do the sportsman-like thing and let both himself and Bedrosian by, or I think he will. Now I'm going to hold up Bedrosian for a moment. Now Andy's going to dive down the inside of corner number 3. So coming out of corner 4 where we started the race, Bedrosian he'll lose a little bit of time as a result of that, but I don't think too much. Let's throw the battle box up here, which, oh, we got the bad version of the battle box. There's a good version and a terrible version, and we seem to have pulled the terrible version. There we go. No, it was there for a second, and it disappeared. Oh, Battlebox, you were a cruel mistress. We'll see if it decides to come back, but for the time being, we'll just use the timing tower and go from there. But again, Tim Salvatore and Woody Mahan, still the two guys yet to pit there on the lead lap, so I can guarantee from a strategy perspective, nobody's making this race on a full tank of gas without a pit stop. It's just not going to happen, and yeah, for the time being, it doesn't look like it will. Even if they were to stay out at this point, both Paxa and Bedrosian got so far ahead that they could pit and still come out as the top two drivers. So, comfortable race so far for the 16 and the 5, respectively. But I think that'll be the battle for the end of the race going forward. Still, even though again Logan has kept a pretty consistent 1.5 second gap, but by the end of the race, I'm confident that we'll see another battle between these guys because Bedrosian's a very hungry driver and he can put together some absolute flyer lap times if he really puts his head down and gets to it. So they will stay about the same way they have so far for the time being. We're going to go to another quick break here. We are now on lap number 31 of 50, so already well over halfway through the race now. And thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Trying to hurry these broadcasts up a little bit more than we used to. Of course, the old broadcast could be a little bit long, so well, if I can keep these to about an hour and a half each, that would be nice. And that way everybody has time to spend the rest of their, final Friday before Christmas next week. Happy early Christmas, everybody. Of course, we have a race on Monday, so I will be sure to reiterate that then. But yeah, for the time being, we're going to go on board with, I think, maybe Tim Salvatore there in the number 91. Let's just get a ride around with him as we go to another one of our brief breaks. And we're back here, as you can see, with Mr. Tim Salvatore there, running in the number 91 car. Unfortunately, again, thanks to the terrible coloring, his name isn't visible there in the bottom left, but this is indeed Tim Salvatore. Just something I want to mention quickly before we go back to a normal camera angle. You can see the fogging up you can see on the camera here, or the virtual camera. Whoa! Has to make a huge dodge. That was David Paxa, I think, yeah, in the number 53 car. We'll mention what I was going to talk about in a moment, but let's see what happened to the 53 there, David Paxa. This very, Whoa, lots of stuff happening there for the 53 car. This very, very tricky first corner. So this is David Pax on board with who was in originally 5th. Just comes in with a lot of speed. Doesn't really do anything wrong. He just carries a little bit too much pace in there through corner 1. Tries to get the thing backed up and spun around there back onto the track and does so. Gets a little bit overzealous with it, spins it around. And that was Tim Salvatore going by, I believe, to lap him for the time being. Yeah, that's Salvatore getting his first lap ahead of somebody else, and I think Crocker will also make the move as well. So for the time being, yeah, David Paxa will keep a spot there in 4th, but also making the move back here, as you can see on Marshall Crocker there, one of the lap cars. But Marshall still holding down 7th position, which again, good point spot here for the 12 drivers we have in tonight's event. So looking back up ahead, that Paxa-Bedrosian gap continues to stand at 2 seconds, which has kind of been the story of this entire race so far. So things don't appear to be changing on that front for the time being, but again, lap 34 of 50. For those of you, including myself, who cannot read the lap count, again, I've said it many times, but that'll be something fixed before the next race. Did something happen to Andy, or is this just my my timing software? Because he is losing a ton of time here on my screen, and already lost a couple of seconds. Let's just check from a different perspective to see if that's just my program being a liar. No, he did lose a bunch of time there in that sector. Not sure what happened to him. He's a guy that in the past have called captain's consistency thanks to his ability to run consistent lap times one after another. But so at this point, yeah, Logan's not crazy far ahead. It gets a little bit loose, but what lost him all that time? Got a little bit far out. Hit the apex properly. Made the corner well. No, I genuinely don't know what the problem was there. Yeah, great exit as well. Great, really clean lines by Andrew Bedrosian. I know we didn't do a proper introduction lap like we do in most broadcasts, and we will pre-race going forward, but yeah, that was about as clean as I've seen anybody do it all race. So, ooh, big move here. Tim Salvatore is going to come into the pits there in the number 91 car, so that kind of proves my theory that 35 laps is the golden number, because, well, in lap 35, he will now come into the pits. Manuel Guerra will also pit, moving Marshall Crocker, yeah, provisionally up to 6th spot, so he will pass Manuel there, making moves late in the race. But yeah, so Tim Salvatore and Woody Mahan both coming down pit road. So let's go to the end of pit lane there, just so you can see the two cars in the back. Oh, no, you cannot. They are behind the timing tower. We'll pull that down for a second just to watch the race off pit road there. Also coming in, that's Mahan coming in now. Guerra's coming out. Salvatore as well. Is Salvatore going to get out ahead of Guerra? He will. So they both make it through clean. Both are going to exit the pits. And here comes Woody Mahan, who I think made up a couple seconds there. Not sure if Salvatore just had a slow pit entry or what, but Mahan will make up, yeah, a decent couple of tenths there. We'll throw up the lap, so 4 seconds now, the gap to 3rd and 4th between Salvatore and Mahan. So this battle for that final podium spot may not be over. Really looking forward to seeing if that heats up. Oh, we'll get the audio levels back to the usual. Looking around though, Bedrosian, yeah, still losing quite a bit of time at this point on the stint. I don't know if it's just tire wear or what, but yeah, Bedrosian's starting to lose quite a bit of track position back to Paxa. And again, I mean, caution is a possibility, but so far we haven't seen too many. So yeah, I got to wonder if that's just temporary and all the floodgates of cautions are about to break loose, but still losing some time. Did he just take damage somewhere? I can't see any visual aerodynamic damage on his car. The loosest he's been in that corner. So we'll check the lap times, but I don't know if Logan's just kicked it into high gear or if maybe me throwing up the battle box jinxed him. Lost 11 seconds. Oh, sorry, that's Tim Salvatore who pitted. Let's check this graph. There we go. Logan Paxton, the 16 car, current race leader. No, he's just been 2 seconds quicker at each of the last couple laps. Andrew's been running 1:15s, which seems very unlike him. So I'm not sure what's happening there for Andrew Bedrosian, but with about 13 laps to go, all the Logan Paxa fans at home, your chance to see Logan win the debut race of the season is getting better and better lap by lap. But again, you can never count Andrew out, and that's always been my philosophy in the past, because he's definitely one of the quickest guys in the series when he gets a couple laps. That once he kind of gets in the zone, he kind of operates the same as me in a lot of ways actually on track, where if he gets out of the groove, it can kind of throw him off and his lap times can suffer. But if he just gets enough laps over and over doing the same thing, he can kind of heat up and definitely make up some progress. So appears it is. Oh, sorry. Sorry, how long has my mic been muted? Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, the mic is back. We saw just a moment ago Tim Salvatore going around. Not sure how long that turned off, but yeah, Tim Salvatore lost it a moment ago, and now hopefully making up some ground back to Woody Mahan, who is now in the podium positions. Kind of a bad time to time it because, again, sorry, I don't know how long the mic was off there, but we're going to head to another brief break, see if Tim can make up some time back to Woody Mahan, and for the time being, we're going to maybe stick with Woody Mahan, who I haven't talked about too much, but we'll go to him, we'll talk about him when we come back. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I am now back. Again, apologies for the issues with the mic there. It looks like to be a hardware thing. Looks like my mic level's just externally turned off and just entirely reset, so it'll be a little bit quieter for just a second until I can get that fixed. Let me just manually do that. Again, apologies. This is where we get all the tech issues worked out at the beginning of the season. Those of you that remember the old series will remember myself having similar issues, but hopefully we're all fixed now. In the meantime, Tim Salvatore came into the pits to fix the damage that happened in that incident that I know you all saw, but unfortunately it wasn't very explained very in-depth, at least not if you couldn't hear my mic. So Tim has now returned back to the track, and that's Manuel Guerra ahead of him, who is still in the 7th spot, going to deke out of the way to make sure Tim can get by. Yeah, Woody Mahan will take over that final spot on track there, and we'll likely have a guaranteed spot there on the podium spots, but... wow, we can see all sorts of drivers from this series. Jack Hillier in the chat. During the race, Tanner Digner, it is also, again, pleasure to see you here. Yeah, John, it was a shame to not see you in tonight's race, but glad to hear you'll be back out for Road America, and hopefully we're going to have a great turnout there. So, again, I put the date there in the chat, but yeah, happy birthday, John Guerra. I totally forgot to mention it. I was going to send you something there on Facebook, but yeah, happy birthday to John. I totally understand in that case, and... again, props to Manuel on the side from a driver's perspective. It doesn't get much more pure driver than sticking out a race where it's your brother's birthday. So props to Manuel for that. But yeah, happy birthday, John. Everybody feel free to wish John some birthday wishes. But yeah, so all the information for the next race on Monday at Road America, which will hopefully be a little bit more polished and with more proper colors, will be in just a couple nights. But well, we got 5 laps left to go in tonight's race, and though everybody appears to have spread out pretty well, yeah, nothing's over till the checkered flag flies. That's what racing has taught us, if anything. So, well, we're still on board with Tim Salvatore. Let's head back up to Logan Paxa. Again, your race leader who has kind of gone unchallenged through the latter portion of this race. Andrew now dropped back 24 seconds. Don't know what happened to him. It just seems so uncharacteristic that it would be anything other than a technical issue on the car. So, yeah, just got to wonder what happened in his particular situation. But, well, Logan is continuing to make his way around. 5 laps to go officially this time by, now starting lap 46. So, Well, he's just got to run as clean as he can, try not to put too much pressure on those tires. He's about to lap Woody Mahan, so it'll be only 2 drivers in the lead lap now, which you don't see that too often in a full-length race on iRacing. So really should just express how quick Paxa and Bedrosian are, and I think, you know, many may say that from a parity perspective, having 2 guys that are just so quick to start off the season maybe takes away from the parities. The same problem F1 has, where if you have too many quick guys that are kind of just expected to win all the races, it doesn't make it too exciting. But at least from the perspective of myself and in my experience in racing, it's always nice to have a benchmark and to have guys to try to live up to that are as quick as you expect. And I've noticed the Scott N in the chat all race. I don't know if it's the one I'm thinking of it is, but if it is Scott Norman from karting, how's it going, Scott? Pleasure you were able to make it out. And one of my best buddies in the racing world, and a guy that has personally served as my benchmark in the past for my off-track karting commitments. So yeah, the fact that he's been able to push me as much as he has in my real-life racing endeavors kind of hopefully shadows over to this situation where, yeah, like having Logan and Andrew be as quick as they are, run insane low 113 times in practices, it just provides a benchmark for everybody. And I know when you're starting off a new series, getting used to a new car, as many of these guys are, that's kind of just what you want, just something to push you to do better. And again, this is the first race of the season. We're just getting things kicked off, but I have the feeling some of these guys you see here that have already headed out of the race, the Carl Dronkas, the for sure the Tanner Dignards of the world, I'm sure will be coming back with a vengeance in future races, because they were really quick tonight. They've had potential through the practices all week. So yeah, anybody that you see that showed up to tonight's race, I know has the potential to not just do well and score great points, but to flat out win a race in this series. I'm that confident in many people's abilities to learn from those around them. So, well, Logan Paxa, again, with only 4 laps to go, plenty of time left in the racing world, but again, that's only about 5 minutes, so you got to think that if he can just keep it clean and keep that 30-second buffer he's got to second, well, Logan could be looking at his first race win of the season. I think his 15th overall in series I've covered, so absolutely incredible virtual career there for Logan Paxa. But not to discount Andrew Bedrosian, who I know appears to still be losing a little bit of time, but if he does indeed have damage or something of the sort, well, he's still hung in here. And, you know, a second-place spot in a series that I like to think is as competitive as it is for the top spots like this one. And man, second, you can't complain with it all, and he'll take the 3 bonus points for pole. So the gap between first and second in championship points is 10 points, 50 points to first, 40 to second. So that may seem like a decent margin, 7 points, but it's round 1 of a 15-race season. There's plenty of time, and I think we'll have a great championship battle this year. So unfortunate news for Andy that he was unable to have the pace that I know he would have hoped to late in the race, but we'll ask him in the interviews what happened there, but I got to assume it was some sort of car issue. We got to go back to Woody Mahan now there in the 84 car, who I know I haven't gone too much, but he's had a pretty silent race so far. He kind of did the same thing in a lot of his appearances last season, where it felt like he would kind of just run quick laps. He'd do pretty well in qualifying, but you'd find that you'd come out of pit cycles, and he would just magically have gained about 8 spots and flown up through the field. So yeah, stellar job by Woody Mahan tonight. He'll come away with a podium interview spot, but that'll be 35 championship points to take away from him and for him. And that's great to start off the year for him. So really looking forward to seeing if he can elaborate on that through the rest of the year. And good to see that his open wheel Indy themed skills have carried over. So, well, Logan Paxa has begun lap 49, so only 2 laps to go to finish off the race. Just a couple more minutes left, but again, it was good to see that tonight's race finished up relatively caution-free. I know we had a couple incidents, but things went by pretty quick. So hopefully, if you guys can stomach taking, how long has it been so far? About an hour and 24 minutes out of your day, or out of your Fridays, probably like 1:45 when this broadcast is over. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed stuff like this, and if we can get some more guys in the grid, better color choices and things like that, then yeah, I'm looking forward to putting together a great series looking to the future. So again, happy holidays everybody as well. Just as Logan comes around the bus stop for the second to last time of the race, that'll be the white flag this next time by. But just checking the chat, yeah, Tanner, hopefully your Wi-Fi is indeed able to, your internet is indeed able to hold out for Monday. It would be a pleasure to see you at Road America. See if you can follow up that great 6th place qualifying performance, and same with Jack Hillier. Just looking forward to seeing how you guys do and going to a dedicated road course going forward. White flag here for Logan Paxa. 1 more lap to go for him. Again, he's just had an incredible run today. Wasn't able to get the pole I know he would have liked, but only came about 200ths off of off of that #1 time. So great qualifying session for him. And again, you got to think as we go to Road America, a dedicated road course, he's a guy that in the past in the Karts to Computer Series, his real weakness came at the ovals compared to some guys that were more so oval specialists. But there are still 4 ovals on this year's calendar. I will go over that before the end of the race, but or for the end of the broadcast, I should say. But yeah, now that we got more focus on the road courses like his real-life karting endeavors, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with this season. And I don't like to make comparisons to real-life drivers in a virtual series often, but if our series has a Lewis Hamilton, it is going to be Logan Paxa, guy to look up to, and going to come through the bus stop this time for the final time. That 16 blue and yellow car is actually Tyrrell from the old Formula 1 days. Good throwback for him, and a car older than both him and I. Through the final bank curve at Charlotte Roval for the final time, the 3 and 4 from the oval. Now going to come up through 16 and 17. Logan Paxa, it's been an incredible run through him all race. Through the final 2 corners, Logan Paxa will win the opening round of the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series in dominant fashion. Great work for the #16 car. And well, after Andrew started to lose time, it wasn't really in question there the last little while, but nonetheless, great job from everybody else. It was he's going to pull off to the side to do donuts once everybody finishes their laps. But let's head to Andrew through the final couple of corners as well, because again, though he may not have had the end of the race he would have liked, he's second. You can never complain with that in a series like this one. And absolutely, congratulations to Andrew. Great work from him. He will come away with the second place spot, and I know he's a little ways back, but Woody Mahan should come away with the final podium spot. So it'll be a Paxa, Bedrosian, Mahan podium to start off this season, and something we're used to seeing in the past in the Karts to Computer Series. So it's good to see that the same guys are able to carry over their speed through multiple seasons. There in the background is Logan doing his donuts, but we'll go to a replay of that in just a moment. Just want to show Woody Mahan finishing up his race as well. Got a couple more corners to go here, but almost there. Unless he... No, didn't go a lap down. A minute 29, so we came very, very close, but looks like he will be able to finish. Has he finished the race? I would hope so. Not running super competitive time. Yeah, he must be finished. Must have gone a lap down, but looks like it's not going to count as such. Tim Salvatore is still going full speed, so... I don't know, but Tim Salvatore will come away with a 4th. I know he's definitely not going to be happy with his spin there in the corners 3 and 4 just a minute ago, where kind of took himself out of the equation for a podium spot. But again, 4th place in points, not bad at all. And he's proven tonight, especially with his 3rd place qualifying spot, he is going to have a lot of talent this season, and he's going to bring a lot to the table. And I think if there's one guy that right out of the box can compete with the top 2 guys of Paxton and Bedrosian for both podiums and race wins going forward, it is definitely him. So watch out for Tim Salvatore the rest of the season. I think he's got big things ahead. Let's go to the replay there of Logan Pax's victory celebration. Sorry, I was just trying to get some footage of the other drivers before we finished up, but now we can go see those victory donuts. And sorry for the spoilers there, ladies and gentlemen, but you've probably already seen donuts if you've seen any race where Logan's won. He's always happy to celebrate there as the #16 car, and rightfully so. Again, great performance for him. Congratulations to Logan taking the opening round of the season, and I know his karting season went great, and got to imagine that this season could go just as well if he's able to stay consistent and keep his composure, which, well, tonight he did impressively so. So Logan, as John has coined him, Logan Hamilton Paxa, coming in with the first race win of the season. So, well, maybe we'll throw up the final race results up there as we watch these donuts. There we go. He's going to finish them up. So, well, now we can head to the post-race results. Oh, sorry. We got to get all that junk off the screen. There we go. And there we are. So, again, apologies for the font. It'll be fixed in the future. But for the time being, Mr. Logan Paxa coming away with the opening round win of the series. Congratulations to him. Again, him and Andrew were running almost identical lap times that entire middle stint, but at about lap 35, there was just something that went wrong for Andrew that meant the gap started to open up quite a bit, and 36-second lead. Certainly, if there's one guy you would expect to be able to do something like that, it is him. So great run by Logan. We'll open up the season on a high note. But Andrew Bedrosian, again, you can't disregard the kind of race he had. Again, your pole sitter tonight, got the bonus points for that, and then again, we'll have to ask him in the interview. Not sure what happened there mid-race, but just started to somewhat fall back. But again, he'll come away with 43 points for tonight's effort, which is stellar in our points results. But Woody Mahan rounding out the top 3. Great performance for him. Him and Tim Salvatore. Again, I think we're going to have a really good battle if Tim just didn't have that incident he had. But Well, they're I'm sure going to battle all season for spots. Hopefully, as soon as Road America on Monday. But Tim will come away with fourth place spots as well. So third and fourth for Mahan and Salvatore, who both I think ran in that just flipped in qualifying. So great performances from them. David Paxa, who again I know had some issues towards the end of the race of his own, just so tough to keep the car under you here in the Indy Pro towards the end of pit stints, but. Yeah, great work from him to round out the top 5 tonight. We'll come away with solid championship points in the future, and 2 Paxes in the top 5 tonight for the first time, and I'd imagine not the last time this season going forward. Marshall Crocker in the 15 car will come away with the 6th place spot, splitting the field in half in the top 50%, so good points for him tonight. Again, he kind of avoided the chaos there at the front, had some good battles mid-race with Manuel Guerra, and I think that was Tanner Dignard at the time, so great performance for him. Again, Manuel on the same lap, finishing in 7th, just a little ways back, I think. Again, both solid points positions for both of those guys. Rich Foligno, who I know was involved in an incident early in the race with, I think, that was when Woody Mahan, no, it was when Carl Dronka early in the race went around. He was just moving up spot after spot off the start, but got in a wreck there in corner 2 and took Foligno with him. So hopefully going forward, Foligno, I think if he's incident prone or if he's incident free, which again wasn't necessarily it wasn't at all his fault tonight, but yeah, if he can stay away from those incidents, I think he has a lot of potential to have some great spots later on the season. But Jack Hillier in the 9th spot, 29 laps down, left pretty early, but he's in the chat, and yeah, great job, Jack, to make your debut tonight. Looking forward to big things from both of you and fellow rookie Tanner Dignard. Both guys having great races to, well, perhaps the final race result doesn't shadow just how well I think they were doing it at most points tonight. So right at the top 10 is those two guys, and then Caleb Campbell in the 11th spot, and Carl Dronka rounding out the 12 driver field tonight. Again, Carl so quick at the beginning, moved up 3 spots in the first lap, but that incident at the beginning kind of put the kibosh on his hopes of a top 5 performance tonight. So with that, we'll round out your final grid results. And now's the part where we get to the the fun part for many, and I hope the fun part for the drivers. We're going to get to some interviews. So first interviews of the season, and we'll go check the Discord, make sure we got everybody there. We do not. No Woody Mahan in. No Woody Mahan in the chat for now. So we'll go to Andrew in just a moment. But okay, well we'll get this figured out. No Woody for the time being, but yeah, if you guys got any questions to ask, probably more so Logan, because we're going to the broadcast with. Sorry, we're going to the interview with Andrew right now. But if anybody's got questions for Logan, just shoot them in the chat momentarily. Yeah, it looks like we're not going to have any Woody tonight. So Andrew Pedrosian will be our first interview of the night. Going to interview tonight's 2nd place finisher. Andrew is now in the booth. Hey, Andrew. Oh. Hey, Andrew. It's Marshall in the booth. You got me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, first of all, man.
You there?
Oh, mic check. You got me?
Yeah, you kind of blipped out.
Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, a bit of a technical issue. To sign the same button to switch scenes is the one that I was using for the chat. Anyways, well, first of all, congratulations, Andrew. I know the end there seemed to kind of unravel for some reason there. And well, first of all, I just want to ask you kind of what happened there. I mean, you went from about 2 seconds back, competing for the win, running almost equal lap times to Logan, and lost about a half minute there towards the end of the race. So just what happened there? What went wrong?
Yeah, I mean, we were doing great. I mean. Right when I saw Logan coming in on the inside for the last chicane, I mean, tried to fight it, but I mean, he was just too far in there, and I knew he was carrying way too much speed. So, rather look at the big picture. I mean, probably just use the same tactic as last season: keep my head down and look at the big picture, take a bunch of podiums. But yeah, like we tried the undercut and came very close. I mean, didn't gain much time. I think we lost a 10th or 2, but doing it. But yeah, I think I hit Manuel and barely locked up the brakes, avoiding him, but front wing damage on the right side, so lost downforce a little bit. But yeah, I mean, basically just I mean, still very happy with the result, so I can't complain.
Yeah, as far as positions go, especially beginning off a season at a track as tough as Roval in a car where the back end can be as excitable as it is, that's a great finishing spot. And again, we've done Roval in the past. We did it in the previous series, and I know you're with us for the second Cars Computer season, so I know we ran that in the Skippy. But how does your experience with this track compare in previous cars like the Skip Barber to running the Indy Pro tonight? A pretty new experience, but I know you've had plenty of practice with it.
Yeah, I mean, Logan and I were just talking about that. I actually crashed out last year. But yeah, with these cars, they're putting out at least a little bit more than 300 more horsepower in these engines, more than the Skip Barber engine. So it really uh, gives it just a little bit more free for the driver. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's very, very difficult to describe on how hard these cars are to drive and how fast Logan and I were going driving them. I mean, we had like 2 seconds over a faster pace than third. So I mean, we were definitely moving.
Yeah, and most certainly. I think that came across throughout the course of the broadcast for sure. But well, as we finish up tonight, again, starting off the season at a track that was kind of a wild card for many, and it was kind of a fun way to start the season for that reason. But now we head to Road America, and I know that's a track that's a little bit more in your neck of the woods in terms of driving style, and I know you seem to have been putting in a lot of practice there. So I'll kind of use you as our test guy to kind of run us through what to expect there on a Monday night for round two. Like what should we expect with the Indy Pros at a track like Road America?
Yeah, I mean, really, really long straights. For the first two rounds, I really think they're complete opposites. I mean, with the track tonight, we had turns pretty much every 5 seconds where hitting your apexes. I mean, hitting your apexes take place and is a big role in any track, but like at Road America, it's really about getting on the gas as soon as possible because you have to go down the really, really long straights. And it's gonna be a real test on to see who can uh, actually trust their car and just, I mean, with braking zones and really come down to people's defense and overtaking skills.
Well, you exhibited some great defensive skills there in the early parts of tonight's race. So we'll see how that plays out going forward. We'll see if you're able to keep those up. I mean, overtaking didn't really have to do much tonight, but when you are the pole sitter, that is just kind of the lay of the land.
Yeah.
So congrats on the 3 bonus points tonight and coming away with 43 points. And this point system is tons. So again, you talked about earlier, trying to prioritize the long game and winning maybe not the battle, but it's round one. There's
Yeah,
always time
yeah,
to win the war. So, well,
yeah.
now's the opportunity for all interviewees. If you want to give a shout out to anybody at home, talk about whatever you want. This is kind of your time in the interview.
Okay, yeah, I wanna first off thank Michael for coming out and spotting for me. I mean, he was a huge help with uh telling me the difference between Logan and my pace. Um I do want to thank Bedford School for sponsoring me, Stamos Realtors, and JP West Photo. And yeah, I mean, I really hope we put on one heck of a show for everybody.
Yeah, I'd certainly say we did. Qualifying was a heck of a time. I'm so glad that we get to run the live F1 style qualifying this season. I think that'll make some fun dynamics at certain tracks, and yeah, hopefully we put on a good show. And yeah, shout out to Michael. I noticed he was there pre-race, but wasn't sure whether he was going to watch, going to run, or going to spot. So yeah, that's Michael Krobach, former series driver, for those of you wondering. So yeah, it's good to see him back. I'll have to talk to him post race. But yeah, congrats, Andrew. I know it perhaps wasn't the race that you were hoping for after qualifying, but man, with the adversity you had there at the end, you did the best you could with it and came away with a second place. So looking forward to seeing what you do at Road America.
All right, thank you.
And that'll round out our first interview of the night. Again, Road America will be on Monday the 21st, coming up in just a couple of nights. And then we'll take a 2-week break before January the 8th for round 3 at Texas. So Road America, again, going to be an absolute joy of a time. A great track, very roller coaster-like in a way. So that's a spectacle to look at, and I can't wait to head over there for the next round. But, well, now we get to the
I got you, man. Well, first of all, it's great to be back. This series is super fun. I always love coming back to do this stuff. Qualifying, we'll start there. Qualifying was decent. The first couple laps were very good. And later in the session, I felt as though I was overdriving more and more and more, trying to get a better lap. Just letting myself get in my own head, which didn't work very well. Andrew jumped me on the last lap. I did a 0.4, he did a 0.3. So I had to change my strategy a little bit, because in practice I saw that, I was a bit faster than him. I thought, okay, if I can get pole, maybe I get a good start. I can break toe, like draft with him, and drive away. That didn't work. So later in the race, I was behind him, biding my time. He wasn't making any mistakes, so I really didn't have any reason to pass him. And once I got just a little bit closer to him, he started to make just a couple more mistakes, I think because I was closer to him. At that point, I realized, okay, it's time to pass him now. So I passed him in the chicane. I held him close to 1 second gap for the rest of the race, and I was just talking to him, actually, and he said in the final stages of the race, he got front wing damage, which is why all of a sudden I start to gap him a second a lap consistently, and that was the end of the race. So I just had to keep hitting my marks, not make mistakes, and it would have been a fairly simple win.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like by the end it was turning out that way. But at the beginning there, he held you to your talents, made sure that you weren't going to fall asleep there. And yeah, great pass through 16 and 17. I was wondering if we'd see any passes there in that chicane rather than the bus stop tonight. But if anybody's willing to make those moves, it's you. So to come back and after all this time, after a great karting season, come back into the virtual side of things and kick it off with a win, it's great to see, and I'd imagine it's just how you want to start things off. But getting used to these Indy Pro cars, I know formerly you were in the former series where it was a lot of different cars running through the course of a season. How do you think starting off the season with a win, how do you think that running one car the entire year at both road courses and ovals, how do you think that's going to appeal to your skill sets with a little bit more consistency?
I think there are two factors that go into judging the car. One of those things is the fact that the Indy Pro is a very good middle car between the Skip Barberys we ran last season and the Indy cars. And I found that taking a little bit of the driving style you use for those two cars, merging it into one, where the Skip Barber, you have to think a lot about rotation, and the Indy car, you need to think a lot about brake pressure. And those are the two things I focus on, rotation and brake pressure, as in using the brakes to the best of the ability, but also using the brakes to rotate the car. Because if you don't rotate it correctly, there's a lot of understeer. I am super happy with the car choice. It's a blast to drive. It's a very good balance between those two cars. The other factor is the dirty air, right? So the aero push through corners when you're behind someone. In the Skip Barber, it was virtually non-existent. The IndyCar, very, very prominent. Most races would actually form around the basis of dirty air, of the people in front of you. That's why pole position is so important. And this is, again, a very much a middle car type of thing with that, where you have less than the IndyCar, but it's still prominent. But it's not what molds races. You can still get past people with not massive amounts of effort, right? I enjoy the car. I think it's going to be a fun season, and I'm going to enjoy every second driving that thing.
Awesome. Well, that's what I love to hear. And hopefully as we head to Road America on Monday, you can keep up the same pace you showed tonight. And yeah, you talk a lot about the technical aspects. And Road America, such a technical track, is you're going to need every bit of brake pressure and ability to kick the back end around to get quick lap times there. And I know Andrew will push you just as hard as we head over there. I called you guys, kind of dubbed you guys the two Mercedes teammates of this season, at least at the beginning. The two guys that I think will set a benchmark for the rest of the guys in the series, just because you get so much pace tonight and put it in so much time. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how you guys follow that up on Monday. How are you feeling for Road America?
Well, you have to think about the differences between what makes someone fast at this kind of track, which is, very flowing. There's lots of corners, not much straightaway. And then there's the factors that you need to think about when you're at a track like Road America, big straights, mostly hairpins to long sweeping corners. So you need to think about, first of all, brake pressure is the biggest thing. Dirty air, not going to be that big of a problem because of how long the straights are. So it should be much easier to pass, theoretically. But I know Andrew is very, very fast there, and it's going to be difficult for me. But I'm up to the challenge, and I'm always happy to take on a fight. Always happy to try.
Awesome. Well, that's what I like to hear. Well, yeah, this is the part at the end of every interview. If you got people to shout out at home, I know as always you got family in the chat and supporting you and cheering you on. So yeah, if you got anybody you want to shout out or anything you want to say, now is the time to do so.
Well, yeah, I would like to thank my family. I'd like to thank Prime Power Team, all the people on that team that each year they continually teach me in ways to make me a better driver. I can't thank them enough. I want to thank Special Interest Auto, my sponsor. They are amazing people doing amazing work. Absolutely flawless. And that's pretty much it. And you, actually. There you go. That's the one I was forgetting.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to thank you hugely for giving us something to do at this time. And it really means a lot to me, man.
Awesome. Well, that's why I do is just as much for the people at home, but also the drivers. Just I know how much I needed iRacing once the karting season was over to kind of fill that hole coming towards the winter season, and that's why this is so great. Just gives us an outlet for the racing we'd like to be doing on track in the real season, and gives us somewhere else to do it. And I can't wait to get a new campaign of this kicked off. And again, great turnout tonight. We got more guys coming back, so you'll have even more competition next week and onwards. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how you and all the other guys cope with that, and I just can't wait to not just to commentate this for all the people at home, but can't wait to go back to watching this kind of thing every night or every week. I love watching the iRacing side of things with such talented drivers. So yeah, thank you too, Logan, for coming out, rejoining the series, and again, like I talked about a minute ago, just giving a benchmark for everybody else to follow.
Thank you, man.
Awesome. Have a great rest of your night. I assume we will see you on Monday, so have a good rest of your weekend to you and your family and everybody at home. And yeah, I'll talk to you. Well, I don't want to jinx it, but there's a good chance I think we'll be talking to you here on Monday as well if you keep up the pace like tonight.
Thanks, buddy. Have a nice Christmas break.
Yeah, you too. And with that, we will round out your final interview of the night. Again, well, this will about bring us to the end of the broadcast. Again, I'm trying to shorten them up a little bit, just keep them a little bit more short and sweet going forward. But I will throw up your final results one more time. That way we can have a reminder for those of you just joining late on how tonight's event did end up. Again, we'll run through your top three. Paxa, Bedrosian, and Mahan were your top three tonight. Unfortunately, we couldn't get an interview with Woody Mahan for the time, but we will try to get him set up on the broadcast side of things for next week, or at least for Monday for Road America. After that, Tim Salvatore and David Pax rounding out the top 5. Again, 2 Paxes in the top 5. Congrats to Tim and David on their debuts in the series, becoming the top 2 scoring rookies in the, you call it Rookie of the Year championship for this 15-round season of the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series. So congrats to both those gentlemen. Marshall Crocker, my father, finishing in 6th. I was going to say performance and finish, said both. Performance tonight. Manuel Guerra in 7th in the number 12 car. Great night for him as well. Looking forward to seeing what he does going forward. Maybe if he can, qualify as quick as I know he could be and start a little bit further up the field. I think he can have some great performances this season. Same with Rich Foligno, who, again, got caught in that early Carl Dronka incident, I think lap number 4 or 5, really early in the race. I think if he can just avoid those incidents going forward, I think he can have a great year as well. Jack Hillier and Tanner Dignard, both who we've seen in the chat. To other fellow rookies, thank you guys for joining the series. It'll be a pleasure to have you all year, and looking forward to seeing maybe if I'll be broadcasting you guys in the next couple weeks and talking to you guys in the booth. But rounding out the field, Caleb Campbell and Carl Dronka will round things out. I know Carl, again, was having a stellar start to the race and unfortunately just got involved in that wreck and left after that. But hopefully going forward, we'll see some better performances from him. And he's a guy that I think could surprise as soon as next race or the one after that. Could be talking to him in the broadcast booth. But with that, we'll round out your broadcast for tonight. Again, it's been an absolute pleasure to have all of you. I'll throw the hopefully graphic of myself back up. I got to find a better picture for that because I swear I don't keep that much facial hair in real life most of the time. But that's not the important part. The important part is I'll let all of you guys go back to your Friday night. But thank you again, everybody, for watching the opening round of the Snowstorm Open Wheel Racing Series. A season that will continue on well into the new year. And we got a race on Monday at Road America. Again, we'll be right back here on YouTube Live. I will send the link around to all of the drivers and family at home. But, well, if you need to know where to look, just come straight back to the series. Go to the playlist tab on our channel. I know it says we have no content because YouTube does not consider recorded live streams as content, but all the content is there, I assure you. So go to playlist. You'll see all that you need there. And, you can go back and watch some of the old races from the old Karts and Computer series, or, well, that's where you'll go for the second round of this series on Monday. But again, for the entire, I said broadcast team, but that's just me. But for all the drivers, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. The date for the next race will again be in the graphic in just a moment. But have a good rest of your night, everyone. Thank you for all those that contributed in the chat. Thank you to all the drivers who came in here tonight after the race. And to John Guerra and Justin Lewis swinging by, saying they're going to be back sooner rather than later. And Vetter Van Warwick as well. So plenty of drivers tonight. I think it'll be a great season, everybody. And I know, again, some technical issues tonight that'll get worked out in the future once we can get some actual coloring that doesn't look absolutely putrid when combined with each other. We get our contrast ratio up a little bit. But just thank you again, everybody, for stopping by. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you all on Monday for round 2 at Road America. Have a great rest of your night, everybody.